just embarrassing. This was an embarrassing game. Stephanie White, down 12 points with 6 seconds to go, just called a timeout. She just called a timeout. This was a absolute embarrassment. An embarrassing performance from the Indiana Fever. 0 fast break points. And lads, guys that are coming into the stream, thank you, George, for the $10. Leave a like. If you're watching this in a video, leave a like. Let's try to get this to 1,000 likes. And on the stream, we're only 200 off 1,000. Lads, we're so close to 48,000 subscribers as well. If we could get to that by the end of the day, that would be insane. But lads, Aaliyah Boston played less minutes than Sydney Coulson. Aaliyah Boston played less minutes than Sid Coulson. Aaliyah Boston, MVP candidate up to this point, OW candidate Aaliyah Boston, played less minutes than comedian.
This was just embarrassing. An absolutely embarrassing game. Stephanie White, down 12 points with about 20 seconds left, calls a timeout. Seriously, this was a total embarrassment. The Indiana Fever had 0 fast break points, and to everyone. Joining the stream, thanks to George for the $10. Drop a like if you're watching this as a video. Let's try to hit 1,000 likes. We're also just 200 subscribers away from 48,000, which would be amazing to reach by the end of the day.
Full-time comedian, part-time basketball player, Sydney Coulson. Sid Coulson is the worst point guard I have ever seen in the WNBA. And I've watched Julie Van Loo play bad games. And if you guys have ever seen heard about or watched Julie Van Loo in a bad game, it can get like painful to watch. Aaliyah Boston shot the ball 5 times. Aaliyah shot it 5 times. Sid Coulson shot the ball 7 times. She shot it 7 times. Like, Kelsey Mitchell, when she just goes, meet, dribble, do something dumb, she goes 4 for 16 from the field. 4 for 16. 4 assists. The team.
Now, Aaliyah Boston played fewer minutes than Sydney Coulson. Aaliyah Boston, who's been an MVP candidate so far, got less court time than part-time comedian, part-time basketball player Sydney Coulson. Coulson might be the worst point guard I've ever seen in the WNBA. And trust me, I've seen Julie Van Loo have some rough games too. For those who know Julie Van Loo's struggles, you know it can get painfully bad. Boston only took 5 shots, while Coulson took 7. It's like Kelsey Mitchell going meep, dribbling all over the place and making dumb plays. Mitchell went 4 for 16 with 4 assists, and the team had a ton of turnovers. Was it 19 or over 20? Either way, they set the team record for most turnovers this season, with more giveaways than Caitlin Clark had by herself.
Had 21 turnovers. Or is it 21 turnovers? Or is it 19? It was in 19. I can't remember if it was 1 over 20 or 1 under 20. So there's more than 17 turnovers. They had 17, then they turned the ball over twice. Either way, they have set the record for most turnovers in a game this season for them. They had more turnovers than when Caitlin Clark had 10 herself. Thank you, Bad Phil, for the $9. Then she had 10 by herself. They had 0 fast break points. 0 fast break points on the game. 0. 0 fast break points. I don't care what this score ends up. The Warner Bonners in the line, the Fever are trying to make this game single digits. The fact they scored 70 points is purely because the referees were giving the Fever every single call. Like, to say that the Indiana Fever did not get the huge benefit of the doubt, other than, like, Aaliyah Boston, who continues to get phantom fouls called on her. Aaliyah Boston, for some reason, they still call phantom fouls on Aaliyah Boston. Other than Aaliyah Boston, they got the benefit of the doubt from every single call for the entirety of this game. DeWanna Bonner.
Thanks to Bad Phil for the $9, Clark had 10 turnovers all by herself. The Fever had 0 fast break points. 0. No matter what the final score was, the Fever were trying to get within single digits. but the fact they scored 70 points is only because the referees kept giving them calls. Outside of phantom fouls, called on Aaliyah Boston, the Fever got every benefit of the doubt throughout the game. Dana Bonner played well, no criticism there. Honestly, there are only two players on the Fever who don't deserve criticism today: Dana Bonner and Lexi Hall. Natasha Howard was the only one doing anything offensively in the half court.
Good game. Well played, Duana. Well played. I'm not going to criticize. There are two players on this Indiana Fever team that don't deserve criticism. Duana Bonner does not deserve any criticism for how she played today. At all. And Lexi Hull does not deserve any criticism. And by the way, Natasha Howard was the only player doing anything in the half court. By the way, was she shooting some crazy shots? Yes. But halfway through the third quarter, she committed 5 turnovers. Fine. 3 moving screens that were 50-50 and 2 travels. It is what it is. She was still -1. They still looked fine when she was on. She was the only player who did anything on the defense, on the offensive end. The only player who did anything.
Yes, Howard took some wild shots and had 5 turnovers. Halfway through the third quarter, moving screens, travels, the whole lot. But she was still -1 and looked solid when she was on the floor. She was the only player contributing on both ends. Michaela Timpson got subbed in for about 22 seconds, and even in that short time, her...
Like, Michaela Timpson, they subbed her in for, 9 seconds? For 22 seconds. And in that 22 seconds, her one-handed rebound was better than anything else we've seen from any player on this team. At least Duana Bonner got a nice shot to end the game with 21 points. At least Duana Bonner. At least Duana Bonner did something. Natasha Howard played 17, got subbed off halfway through the third, and then got benched. Aaliyah Boston took less shots than Sydney Coulson. This offense is so bad. It's so bad. Like, it is the worst offense I've ever seen. It is literally give the ball to the wing, and then everybody stands there thinking, what the hell are we meant to do? What are we meant to do? What are we meant to do? And it starts and finishes with the worst player I think I've ever seen in Sydney Coulson. Sid Coulson can play 3 minutes per game and be a pest. She can be a Pat Bev and go for steals. She turned it over. Again, she got an assist there at the end, didn't she?
One-handed rebound was more effort than anyone else showed. At least Dana Bonner ended with 21 points and a good shot to close the game. Howard played 70 minutes, got benched halfway through the third, and never came back on. Boston took fewer shots than Coulson. This offense is absolutely terrible.
She had 3 assists because she got one there on the buzzer for Duana Bonner. So, she turned the ball over as many times she had assists, and one of her assists was in garbage time. She committed 5 fouls, late on in the game, when it's just about to end. It's not fully over. She just shoved Brittany Sykes for no reason. She was just running around hacking people at inopportune times. And by the way, Sid Coulson got burned. She got burned on the offensive end. She got absolutely burned. And not only that, she did not pass the ball to Aaliyah Boston once. I don't think that Sid Coulson passed the ball into the post to Aaliyah Boston. Aaliyah Boston shot 5 times, 4 or 5 from the field. At least she had 10 points there. She shot... Like, this is a game that you need Aaliyah Boston, and Aaliyah Boston gives you 4 of 5 from the field. Sid Coulson is a worse defender than Caitlin Clark in long minutes. She got burned every single time because she throws herself out of the play. How many times Sydney Coulson just threw herself out of the play looking for a steal, and all of a sudden there's a switch and she switched on Kiki Iriafen or something? How many times did that happen?
One of the worst I've ever seen. It's just give the ball to the wing and stand there confused, like nobody knows what to do. And it all starts and ends with the worst player I've ever seen, Sydney Coulson. Coulson should only play a few minutes to be a pest, someone to go for steals. Instead, she turned it over as much as she assisted, with 1 assist coming in garbage time. She also committed 5 fouls late in the game for no reason, shoving Brittany Sykes and hacking players at the worst moments. She got burned on defense repeatedly, and never once passed the ball to Aaliyah Boston in the post.
How many times did that happen? Like, when it comes to the Washington Mystics, I am going to talk about the players who played well for the Mystics. Brittany Sykes was horrendous in the first half, and then as soon as Sid Coulson switched on to it, it was like, you know what? Barbecue chicken time. It's barbecue chicken. We made Shakira Austin in the first half look like Michael Jordan. We made her look like Aja. We had Lucy Olsen having a career game. Lucy Olsen had a career game. Jane Melbourne didn't score much, but we made her look like the best defender in the WNBA. Sonia Citron is Sonia Citron. Like, she does what she does. Everything's within the offload, the offense. Sonia Citron is Sonia Citron. We made Kiki Iriafen absolutely destroyed. Destroyed Aaliyah Boston. Like, destroyed Aaliyah Boston. They are... Like, I don't... Like, the Mystics aren't even good. Like, again, the Mystics are not awful. The Mystics are going to hover around 10, 9, and best 8 this season.
Boston shot 4 for 5 and scored 10 points, but Coulson never involved her. Coulson's defense is worse than Caitlin Clark's when she plays long minutes, because she constantly takes herself out of plays looking for steals, causing switches and mismatches.
We made the Washington Mystics, and this scoreline does not reflect the game. The Mystics did not, like, the Fever got bailed out by the referees. This scoreline is not a reflection of the game. The scoreline is not a reflection of the game. And this is what happens when you have a comedian as a point guard. And by the way, there is no excuse for Sydney Coulson to play 30 minutes. She plays no offense, she can't shoot, and she plays no defense. She is a pest. She is a 5-minute-a-game player to be an energy player. And that is completely fine. That is completely fine. But, like, why would you get rid of an actual backup point guard? They don't have anyone. They don't have anyone that can do anything. Like, I understand she's there as a locker room presence. But I mean this when I say this. The locker room will be a lot better if they won this game. They win this game if Erica Wheeler's there.
Talking about the Washington Mystics now. Brittany Sykes was terrible in the first half, but once Coulson was on her, it was like barbecue chicken time. We made Shakira Austin look like Michael Jordan in the first half, and Lucy Olsen had a career game. Jane Melbourne didn't score much, but looked like the best defender in the league. Sonia Citron did what she always does in their offense.
Dare I say they're a lot closer in this game if Christy Wallace is there, and I cannot believe how that sentence has come out of my mouth. If Grace Berger's still there, they might win that game. Whatever you think about Grace Berger, she's better than that. She's better than Coulson. Whatever you think about Grace Berger, she's better than Coulson. And again, they exposed Sophie Cunningham's inability to dribble. So the first time in preseason, Sophie Cunningham was not, like, ran the show at the 1. However, they just full court pressed Sophie. They 3-quarter court pressed Sophie Cunningham. They 3-quarter court pressed Cunningham, and there was nothing they could do. There was nothing that the Fever could do, because Sophie Cunningham is not a great ball handler. She's smart, she can set up the offense, but if there's pressure on her on the ball handler, her handle's iffy. Her brain can play the 1, her handle can't. At this stage, I mean this when I say this, let Aaliyah play point guard. Because Kelsey can't play point guard. Sid Coulson should not be on the floor. Figure something out. Like, I don't care who takes the ball up, just not Sid Coulson. Let Aaliyah play point guard and initiate your offense through the 5.
We completely destroyed Kiki Fenn and Aaliyah Boston on defense. The Mystics aren't even great, but they're probably going to finish around 10-12 or in the top 8 this season. The scoreline doesn't reflect the game, though. The Mystics didn't play well, and the Fever were bailed out by referees. This is what happens when you have a comedian as your point guard.
Initiate your offense through the center position. We watched Alyssa Thomas play point center, and I understand Alyssa Thomas is different. We're watching Angel play point guard for Chicago Sky, and even the Sky looked better last night than the Fever. Even the Sky. They've looked worse than the Sky have looked. This is as bad as the Sky looked other than the Liberty game and the Fever game. Like, they don't have a point guard. Alyssa can play point. At this stage, getting Alyssa Smith back. We have the Michael Jordan Alyssa Smith, but why did she not play more? Damaris Dantas. Good effort. Good job. Good effort. Good hustle. A lot of fouls, but good job. You're not going to play that many minutes. You got fouls to give. Good job, Dantas, on the defensive end. Gotta say, good job, Damaris Dantas. Good job, DeWanna Bonner. Kelsey Mitchell. And by the way, Aaliyah Boston without Caitlin Clark on the floor is a different player. and not in a good way. They said this is when Aaliyah Boston's start for MVP. Her MVP, like, they're gonna call her number, and her like hunt for MVP starts now. Aaliyah Boston might not make a damn all-star team if Caitlin Clark's out for more than 6 games. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy, and this is the worst I've ever seen the Fever play. It's the worst I've ever seen the Fever play.
There's no excuse for Sydney Coulson playing 30 minutes. She offers nothing on offense, can't shoot, and is a liability on defense. She's a 5-minute energy player at best, and that's fine, but why keep her on the floor so long? They don't have a backup point guard anymore, and that's a big problem. I get that she's a locker room presence, but honestly, the locker room would be happier if they won games. They'd be much closer if Erica Wheeler or Christy Wallace were playing. And I can't believe I just said that. Even Grace Berger, whatever your opinion of her, is better than Coulson. Sophie Cunningham's ball handling was exposed too. In preseason, she ran the point well, but last night she was pressed full court and three-quarter court, and she had no answer. She's smart and can run the offense, but her handle is shaky under pressure. At this point, let Aaliyah Boston run. Point guard, Kelsey Mitchell can't do it, and Coulson shouldn't be on the floor. Figure something out. Use the center to initiate offense like Alyssa Thomas does. Angel McCoughtry did it for Chicago last night, and even the Sky looked better. Then the Fever and Alyssa Smith can play point guard too. Why didn't she get more minutes? Shout out to Damiris Dantas for hustle and defense despite the fouls. Good job on the effort from her and Bonner and Mitchell. Without Caitlin Clark on the floor, Aaliyah Boston looks like a different player, and not in a good way. There was talk about her being MVP material, but if Clark misses more than 6 games, Boston might not even make the All-Star team. It's crazy. This was the worst I've ever seen the Fever play.